This is a city that has been home to some of the most important figures in history. Mother Teresa, Alexander the Great, and it is a city full of statues that are everywhere you walk, everywhere across the city, wherever you go. And yet, not many people actually come and visit this place, but it is a beautiful city to come to. This here is the capital of North Macedonia, our next country here in Eastern Europe, and it's the capital of Skopje. Now, from what I understand, there is quite a lot to see in this city. Whether it's looking at historical monuments or looking at sort of old areas of the city, there are so many interesting historical things to see here in Skopje. But before we get into the history, before we dive into the historical figures that have shaped not only Macedonia, but the world, it's always a good idea to sort of get a feel for a city by going to a local market. And that's exactly what we're doing here in Skopje in Macedonia. They have these things called green markets, which are basically the fresh markets, and there's one right here in the middle of the city. So let's go ahead and start off our day here in Macedonia with a visit to a local market. What I love about fresh markets here in the Balkans is that everything is as fresh as it gets. The produce is incredible. Now, according to locals that I've met here in Macedonia, this market is famous, well, actually in Macedonia, they're famous for their peaches and their bananas. And apparently those fruits here are sweet, they are incredible, they're juicy, and they're as fresh as it gets. I'm realizing that this market, it just smells so nice. The freshness of the fruits and the vegetables is honestly incredible to me. And here in the morning, everybody's just doing their morning shopping, everybody's just coming around and buying everything. But there's there's a couple food stops as well inside. But like I said, this is the main sort of green market in the city. It is packed to the brim with people, but it is an amazing place just to get a feel for the local way of life and the local, day-to-day sort of shopping here in the city. But with that, we've walked out of the market. You can see it's right behind me. It is actually really, really tight, so you could get lost in there. But let's go ahead and start exploring the city of Skopje. Look at how old this little petrol stand is. I think those are like the markings for how much petrol to take, but that is incredibly old. All right, well, we've come to our first historical site here in the city of Skopje, and this is something that is very, very interesting. This right behind me is the City Museum of Skopje, and actually today it's open, it's a gallery and everything. We're not going inside, but the history of this building itself is interesting, because if you look right behind me, there is like a clock at the top of the building. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see that there's like a face of a clock there, and it's parked at a specific time. It's like, I would say like maybe 5:18, something like that. And you might be asking, why is there a specific clock pointing to that specific time? Well, the reason is that because this building right behind me, which houses the current museum, used to be the train station of Skopje. So in the past, you can actually go behind it, you can see there are train tracks that run through in the past. But what happened was that in 1963, there was a massive earthquake that rocked Skopje. This is a place that does experience earthquakes quite frequently. If you look at the history of Macedonia, you can see all the earthquakes that happened in the 1900s, and there's like a list of earthquakes. So this is an earthquake active zone. That clock is stuck at the exact time that the earthquake hit in 1963, and it's just been frozen there in time. They haven't bothered to change it, and I think it's a good idea that they have it. It's sort of like a memory of what happened here in Skopje, because a lot of houses, a lot of people's homes were destroyed in that earthquake. But today, they've turned it into a museum. It's a gallery, it's beautiful, and you can go inside to see sort of artwork and paintings and archaeological sites as well. But we're gonna go ahead and move on, but just an interesting little building to see here in the center of Skopje. literally just like a few minute walks down from the City Museum is this amazing building right behind me, which is like right next to this big pedestrian walkway. As I mentioned earlier, Mother Teresa is here from Skopje. She was born here and she's a Kosovan Albanian. She was born in Skopje. This is the memorial house of Mother Teresa. Let's go inside and check it out. Now, Mother Teresa, she worked in India and she created this whole mission in India to help people with HIV and leprosy in India, but she was born right here in Skopje. Now, the house behind me is not her actual house. Her actual house, they actually have like a place designated to show where her actual house is near the main square in Skopje. But this right behind me is the memorial house. And inside the memorial house, they have a lot of things that Mother Teresa used during her life. So there's like the bed that she slept on, there's like clothing that she wore, there's a lot of statues and everything, and inside the memorial house itself there is a little chapel that the Pope has actually visited. So this is a really important site for Christianity and Mother Teresa, and everything of that she's touched sort of in her life. Her notes that she's written, her letters are actually inside, which is incredible to me that they've been able to preserve them so well. And you can actually see there are a lot of nuns from her mission that are actually working here to sort of maintain the chapel and everything. The entrance into the house is free, which is one of the best parts because you get access to see all of Mother Teresa's things. Her Peace Prize, her Nobel Peace Prize is actually in there as well, her bed and everything. So it's really incredible to see that. I mean, most people wouldn't even know that she's from Skopje here in North Macedonia, but this is the city that she came from, and that is the memorial house that is dedicated to her, and it's really incredible to see that. Now, obviously here in Eastern Europe, whenever I go to a new city or a new country, I've got to see their main Orthodox church, and this right behind me is a massive Orthodox church. It actually looks incredibly beautiful. This building right here is the Church of Saint Clement of Ohrid. Let's go in and check it out. The church is the largest Macedonian Orthodox church in the whole country, and Macedonian Orthodox churches are different in my opinion. First off, the way it's structured in terms of the paintings, the color schemes, they're very bright. They're bright and vibrant colors, and even the space of it. You know, usually when I went to like Serbian Orthodox churches, it was dark, it was quite stuffy, but here it's very open space. It's very large, very open. We've got a massive dome in the middle, and it's just bright. It's lighter, it's brighter, the colors are also brighter. Everything in there is just brighter in my opinion. But it is a beautiful church. Like I said, it's the largest one, and it was only finished in 1990, so it's only like 30 plus years old. The construction of it started back in the 1970s, but today it's just the biggest Orthodox, the Macedonian Orthodox church in Skopje, in all of Macedonia, and it's a place that a lot of locals here in Skopje come when they're here for mass or some prayers at an Orthodox church. Right behind me is probably one of the most important structures here in Skopje. These are the gates of Macedonia, and if you look at it, it's like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. It's like all the famous arches anywhere in the world, but it doesn't have the history of those arches. This arch was actually built only in like 2014, like 8 years ago, and it was during the time of a president here in Macedonia that was very trying to like revamp the city, building a lot of statues and everything. Eventually he got kicked out, and now he's actually in Hungary from what I understand. But you can actually see the signs of the protest against the use of the public funds for statues. Right here on the arch itself, you can see there's like a bit of green paint right here. They painted everything. They really like ruined everything because people were not happy that they were just building all these statues with taxpayer money and using it just to, you know, make the city look more glamorous. But regardless, this is a massive arch, and when you walk through the arch, it takes you to the next stop here in Skopje, here in Macedonia, and it is this beautiful view right behind me of the statue of Alexander the Great. Let's go closer and take a look because this place is incredible. I am now standing in the middle of Macedonia Square. You can see right behind me, that is the statue of Alexander the Great. And it's like the big welcoming square of all of Macedonia. It is incredibly large, it's massive. And you can hear the fountain from the Alexander the Great statue just like, you know, spraying water everywhere. Now during the day, of course, you can tell there's like nobody here, which makes sense because it's really hot. It's like 30 degrees, I think. So fair enough, nobody's here. But when nighttime falls here in the city, this is like the social gathering spot. Young and old Macedonians all come here in Macedonia Square to just enjoy what this beautiful square has to offer. There are little food stands that open up at night, so it's a great place to come and socialize, and it's also so central, which makes it awfully convenient wherever you want to go in the city. The square is located just south of the river, which is right behind me, and we're about to cross that river. But still, the square is a very big sort of open area. Now they are doing a little bit of construction, you can probably see that right behind me, but hopefully by the time you come in 1 or 2 years, the entire area will be cleaned up, pristine, and therefore beautiful to visit. Well, we have officially made it onto the other side of the city of Skopje, and I mentioned earlier that Skopje is like the city of sculptures, the city of statues, and I think on this side you see like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 statues that greet you instantly right when you cross the river. The big main one is that one right behind me. That is the Philip II statue. If you don't know, Philip II is a major king from Macedonia as well. Like I said, Macedonia has produced a lot of very important historical figures in both ancient history and modern history, and that is Philip II. He was a major king, Philip of Macedonia. But this place is just so many incredible statues. If you love statues, Skopje is definitely the city for you. But now we're going to walk past the statue, and that's going to take us to the old Turkish quarter here in the city of Skopje. Old stores, cobblestone streets, and a bunch of old buildings with a mosque in the background. This is now, you know, you've made it to an old town, and technically this is the Old Bazaar of Skopje. It's been around since the 1400s when the Ottomans occupied Skopje and sort of turned this part of the city, the part that's north of the river, into their own little like Turkish Ottoman style town. And you can see the influences very strongly here. I mean, these sort of streets here, this is what you would expect in Istanbul, in Turkey, not really in Macedonia, but because they were colonies, because they were taken over by the Ottomans, that is the influence that has been left here in this city. I mean, we've got these charming little alleyways with a bunch of restaurants, cafes, a lot of jewelry shops. I'm realizing a lot of jewelry shops, a lot of clothes shops as well. But that is what this old area, this old town, old bazaar of Skopje is all about. Let's go ahead and keep walking and see what there is to see in the old town area of the city. Now, in the old town, in the old bazaar area, you get to this quiet little courtyard. This is a Han. Now, if you've watched my Turkey series, you remember we saw a Han in Safranbolu. A Han was one of those caravanserai stops that would be used along the Silk Road. Now, this one here is called Suli Han. It literally means the water inn. So there would be, you know, this place used to be a caravanserai where caravans coming in from the east would sort of stop here for a night before they headed on to the next stop along the Silk Road. Now today they've renovated it, they've made it much nicer, much cleaner, and they've sort of turned it into a national institution, an art gallery. You can see there's a lot of artwork actually here. I mean, you can see right behind me all the artwork is just laid out here, and I think it's like the School of Art or something like that. Now once you walk out of the main old town, the old bazaar, you get to this place right here, which is just full of these stalls that are lining this place. Oh, and there's a car coming right behind me. This place here is called the Bit Pazar, and if you thought the green market this morning was impressive, this is even better. Yes, thank you. This place is even bigger than the green market we saw this morning, so let me show you how massive this place is.
Hey, you! Okay!
Good. Okay, this is a bit overwhelming of a fresh market. I am definitely overwhelmed. They've literally got everything, fruits, vegetables, and what I love in particular about this market is that they have these heaps, mountains of chili powder, literally tubs and tubs of it. No wonder the food here is so flavorful. They know how to spice their food. I mean, imagine just buying some fresh tomatoes, some fresh chilies here, and just having that fresh here. We got a local here. Ah, yeah, look at that.
Good job. Good job.
Yes, very good. Chilies, right? Chilies. Yes, they're massive chilies here. They know how to put their spice here in Macedonia. So it's incredible. And the people here are friendly. The people here who shop at this market are all actual locals. There's no tourists. It might just be right next to the touristy bazaar, but it is as local as it gets here. And the people here are extremely, extremely friendly, which is why I love these types of markets. But it is a lot. It is a lot of stalls, very, very big. You could get lost in here, so be careful because you might need a map for this market. Well, we finally walked up to our final spot here in Skopje. It's a spot that honestly there's not that much to see. There's not a lot of history here, but it is of itself inherently historical. This is the Skopje Fortress, and it is this beautiful sort of fort that's located right over the entire city of Skopje. Now, from what I understand, the fort closes in like 15 minutes, so that's not a great idea. But we're gonna stay here as long as we can and try to catch the sunset because the sun will literally set right behind me over the entire city, which sounds like a dream. We're gonna stay up here. It is beautiful. You literally have an amazing view of everything over the city, and it is beautiful. So we're gonna stay here a bit, and this fortress, like I said, it's been around since I think the 6th century. It's full of history, and there are people here. It's lively, and at sunset it is honestly the perfect place to come to. Now the one thing I have to say is that this place is kind of overrun. Like you can see, you know, you've got like grass growing everywhere, and it's not really the best kept place. But with that said, this place has so much history that it's incredible to imagine that you're standing on a fortress from hundreds and hundreds and centuries ago, and that makes it incredible. Now that is how you enjoy a sunset here in Skopje, North Macedonia. I mean, look at the city behind me, look at the mountains in the background. It doesn't get better than this here in the country of North Macedonia. Now, some tips for the fort. If you're coming to the fort, don't try and look around for the entrance. The entrance is in the north entrance, so where the parking lot is. I know it looks like on the map their entrance is in the east. That entrance is closed. It is jammed. It does not work. The only way you're going to come into the fort is from the north entrance. It took me quite a while to actually get into the fort because I was so confused. But the fort is beautiful, and especially at sunset, it's one of the best places you could have to enjoy the sunset. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. I love Skopje. It is a city that is full of so much history, so much culture, and the people here are incredibly friendly. Some of the friendliest I've seen anywhere in the world. English is spoken quite commonly here, so it's easy to communicate, it's easy to get around, and the views, I mean, I think you can see for yourself. That is incredible. The sun is setting and it is beautiful. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. And I'm gonna say goodbye from here in Skopje, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.